In a wide forest, near a quiet village, lived a flock of pigeons led by an old and thoughtful king. He wasn't the strongest nor the fastest, but every pigeon trusted him deeply. Why? Because he listened more than he spoke, and he always thought before he acted. He understood that true leadership wasn't about power, but about wisdom. One bright morning, with hunger gnawing at their bellies, the entire flock set out in search of food. The fields below them glowed golden in the early light, and scattered across the ground were tempting grains, shimmering like tiny jewels. "Look!" cried one eager pigeon. "Food at last!" Without a second thought, the flock descended, their minds fixed only on the meal ahead. But the moment their feet touched the earth, disaster struck. A hidden net, laid by a clever hunter, sprang up from the ground, trapping every single pigeon. Chaos erupted. Wings beat wildly against the tough cords, and feathers flew everywhere. Panic spread through the flock like a wildfire. "We're lost!" cried one, his voice filled with despair. "Struggle harder," shouted another, pulling frantically in one direction while his neighbor pulled in another. Some simply froze, paralyzed by fear. With every desperate, individual effort, the net only tightened its grip, pulling them closer to their doom. Just as all hope seemed to fade, the king's voice rose above the panicked cries. "Stop," he said, his tone calm and steady. "Struggling alone will only destroy us all." The flock fell silent, their frantic movements ceasing. Every eye turned to their leader. "There is only one way out of this," he continued, his voice resonating with confidence. "We must rise together. Every wing must beat at the same moment. Every bit of our strength must be focused in the same direction." Doubt rippled through the trapped birds. Could it really be that simple? But their trust in the king was stronger than their fear. They knew he had never led them astray. "At my signal," the king commanded, "we fly." The air grew thick with anticipation. 1, 2, now. In that instant, 100 wings beat as one powerful, unified force. The ground trembled slightly, and then, miraculously, the net began to lift. The hunter, who had been hiding nearby, watched in complete disbelief. The entire trapped flock, bound together within his net, was rising into the sky. He ran after them, shouting in frustration, but the pigeons flew higher and higher, a single entity united by a shared purpose. They had achieved the impossible, not through individual strength, but through collective will. But their ordeal was far from over. The weight of the net was immense, and exhaustion began to set in. "We can't fly forever like this," a young pigeon panted, his wings aching. "I know," the king replied, his voice still reassuring. "But I have a friend who can help us. We're almost there." He guided the weary flock toward the distant hills, to a spot beneath a gnarled, ancient tree. This was the home of a clever mouse, a longtime friend of the king. When the flock landed, still tangled together, the mouse rushed out, his whiskers twitching in alarm. "My friends, what has happened to you?" he squeaked. "We were trapped by our hunger," the king explained, "but our unity saved us from the hunter. Now we need your wisdom to finish the work." The mouse immediately understood and began to gnaw at the thick ropes of the net with his sharp teeth. As soon as he started, the pigeons began to clamor. "Free me first," one shouted. "No, cut my bonds, I'm the strongest," yelled another. The mouse hesitated, unsure of who to help first. The king spoke again, his voice firm. "Free the others before you free me." The mouse was surprised. "But you are their leader," he said. "Precisely," the king replied. "A leader is only truly safe when every single one of his followers is safe." The mouse nodded, understanding the depth of the king's wisdom. He worked tirelessly, freeing one pigeon after another. Finally, only the king remained. Once his bonds were cut, he stepped clear of the now useless net. The entire flock rose into the air once more, but this time they were light, they were free, and they were infinitely wiser. They had learned a lesson that day that danger alone could not have taught them. When individuals fail, unity succeeds. And when that unity is guided by wisdom, even the greatest dangers can be overcome. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more stories that inspire.